Hi, welcome back to another episode of Manage the Mental. I'm EJ. 50% of that duo that's going to give you 100% of what we do know, and we hope that that's enough.
Yes, sir. It's your boy Terrence. 50% what my guy E just said.
Yes, sirski. See what we got today.
Man, so there's a clip going on the internet, the young World Wide Web, which we love
man,
so much.
Beyonce's internet.
He's a Beyonce's internet. So there's a clip going on of a mother discussing, I guess there's some lack of confidence in her son being the next LeBron James. But let's just go ahead and roll the clip. We're gonna roll the clip and we're gonna get into it.
Son told me he wants to be the next LeBron James. And I'm assuming he's talking about LeBron James, the father, actor, husband. Because he can't be talking about the basketball player. Baby, I've been to your games. Your daddy is a coach and you don't start. I'm going to eat these words. I feel like 13 years from now, they're going to play this at his draft when he's getting picked. And they're going to be like, this is for all the people that didn't believe in me.
So yeah, that clip is super interesting, E, only because, obviously when I first saw it, I was laughing. I was like, what? Like, first and foremost, like the way she addressed it was kind of funny to me. Maybe that's my dark humor in myself. But the therapist in me was like, what does that say to the kid? Like, what message is being said to the kid if, your own mom isn't believing that you can become the next LeBron James, quote unquote, right? So I see this a lot, especially when we work with folks. We talk about like childhood trauma. We talk about the relationship you have with your mom, your dad, whoever it is, parental figures, doesn't have to say be mom and dad, be mother, grandma, whoever it is. We don't always understand like how much of an impact those relationships and what was told to us at an early age has an impact on us as adults, So when we talk about how that mother has already instilled this hopelessness, I guess you can call it hopelessness in their child, as far as like being the next LeBron James, it kind of stirs up some controversy. I know a lot of people in the comments were like, how could you say that? That's your son. A lot of people are saying, well, nobody could ever be like LeBron James because he's the best, right? But in all honesty, when you have that type of energy as a parent, it really doesn't set your child up really for success. And we may see it as like, funny, or we may see it as like, okay, this person obviously is maybe right or wrong in how they approached it. But in all honesty, it is harmful for the child to be in that type of environment, in my opinion. Because if you're not in a supportive environment, whether if you believe it or not, whether if he does plan to play basketball or not, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't necessarily mean, just because his mom say it's going to happen or not going to happen, doesn't mean it's going to happen or not going to happen. But it's more so about how you're setting your child up if you're not setting them up to aspire to be the best self they want to be, or aspire to have these high goals for themselves. But what are your thoughts about it, E?
Well, my thing, I agree with everything you just said. In addition to that, I wonder what the intention was. I wonder if she had thought it all the way out. We did not see her saying that to her son, individually, which is, as you mentioned, that, man, that's hard to hear. We instead, were able to see her express it to 8 billion other people in the world, and so I wonder what she was thinking when you let everybody know, especially, I don't know how old, her child is, but when you let everybody know, basically, my son he ain't cut for it. He ain't got it. I'm gonna tell him right now. I ain't gonna let him find out on his own. I'm gonna step on his dream before he even gets it going too far. And to make matters worse, I'm gonna make sure that, I'm gonna make it so that he knows that he's really just a charity case. The only reason why you even on the team, essentially, what she basically saying is because your daddy's on there. You're not even starting with your daddy. That kind of lets you know, like, okay, the coach don't want his son being the water boy. So it's just like, just put him at the end of the bench, and here he is talking about he want to be the LeBron James. Now, I get it. You say that to your son in private, whatever. I'm definitely not going to agree with that, because I'm like, it ain't sometimes what you say, is how you say it. But the fact that you felt as though you needed the rest of the world, saying, to feel what it is that you're saying, and which has kind of went viral. Now, of course, it's almost 8 billion people on this planet. All 8 billion didn't. So anybody that's being specific out there, I ain't saying that all 8 billion people saw this clip, but enough people saw it to the point that I wonder if the young lady, if she's like probably 80 to 85% of all the other parents out there on Beyonce's internet, especially when it comes to social media, you post pictures of your kids. You post pictures of your kids or whatever like that. So now, unless her page is private or something like that, now everybody knows the actual young man that they were talking about. Now, see, one thing I know, you don't get to my age without first being a kid. You know what I'm saying? You don't become a man without first being a boy. And one thing I know is that kids are some of the cruelest people in the world. I'm willing to bet that one of his classmates has a parent that one way or another may have slipped up or said something or whatever, and maybe told one of his classmates, hey, ain't this such and such mama? She talking about such and such, or a teammate or whatever. Not everybody laughing. Could potentially be laughing at this kid. Yeah. And I'm sure that wasn't her intention, but it still could be the result, which is very, very harmful. For instance, now, when it's time to go play, a pickup game on the playground during recess or whatever, and everybody picking teams, everybody know what that's like. You remember what it was like in 4th and 5th grade and people had to pick teams? Nobody wanted to be the last one picked. Y'all remember that. You really wanted to be like the first one picked. You felt privileged if you were picked first, because that means that you're good. But now the narrative could really be, hey, don't pick him. His mama don't even think he good. I don't want him on my team. I don't want, you know what I'm saying? That's what comes with that. Now you've really manufactured, a form of potential depression on this young man growing up because he don't think he's going to be good enough. His dreams or whatever it is, you didn't allow him to experience it himself. Instead, you blew his whole light out.
Yeah.
That's a dangerous thing. So like I said, to start it, I don't know if she thought this thing all the way through, T. And once again, when keeping it real on the internet goes wrong. Man. She just gotta wait, just wait a little bit. It's gonna catch you up in a couple of years. Because one thing about the internet, it don't go away. It's here. It'll be here. He'll continue to play that over and over and over and over and again. Because that's kind of the worst mama joke. You know what I'm saying? It's one thing, kids say anything about people. Your mama a crackhead, your mama stupid, your mama fat, your mama ugly, your mama, is a stripper. They say all kinds of great stuff, but to really say, hey, your mama think you suck. Your mama think you ain't nothing. that hits in the chest, man.
Yeah.
So again, I don't know what she was thinking, T.
I think the problem was she wasn't thinking. She wasn't managing her mental.
Oh, she wasn't managing.
She wasn't managing the mental.
She wasn't. Yeah. And there's a penalty for that, champ.
Yeah. And it's crazy. It's crazy because even when we was talking about it, it's probably, obviously I didn't see her social media or whatever, but she probably page on private, not have too many followers, probably posting her story, but somebody screen record that. It's on it forever.
For sure.
It's a done data, couple years later, it might end up in, and I'm not wishing this upon the kid or anything, but the kid's in therapy and like you have evidence, you're like, hey, you want to see how my mom treated me when I was trying to be a basketball player here?
Well,
and showing the video, like
my confidence, because it's not even so much about basketball. There's a strong possibility that the young mama, you right. There's a strong possibility that he may not be LeBron James on the basketball court. Mm-hmm. It's a strong possibility. But let him know that he can. You let him figure that out. Yeah. Let him work hard. You don't want to crush his dreams.
That's right.
Don't be no. You know what I'm saying? There's enough mean people in the world to do that. You definitely don't need to take. Put yourself in the position to do that. There's enough mean people out in the world that will crush a child's dreams. You don't need to join in on that. Let him do whatever he does. So I'm gonna say it again. And I've said it in probably episodes before, y'all, when it comes to your children, stop disciplining and talking bad about your children on the internet. The long-term consequences for that kind of bad decision-making comes at a tax that I can assure you you cannot afford.
That part. So talking about emotional damage. Emotional damage.
All kinds of
and let's talk. This is going back to even talking about the family. You know, like a lot of stuff starts in the family, right? You know, if your mom don't believe you, then who's supposed to believe in you? You know, as a kid, you know what I mean? Like it's a crush on the self-esteem, the confidence, you know, the ability. Again, like it may not be basketball. He may want to try to do something else, but you think he's gonna share to his mom, like, hey, I want to, you know, go to school. I want to do this. Like anything that he wants to be now has already been set up for him to know there's going to be a response of I guess an unsupportive response from his mother. So anything he wants to be, it's a strong possibility that, you know, he may not want to share with his mom, or may not want to have some high aspirations for himself, because the time that he shared it with his mom, he was shut down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which is
now, you
like,
know
it's unfortunate.
else? Yeah, you want to know something else, T?
Yeah.
Crazy. And y'all, the listening and viewing audience, I ain't trying to start no mess. But could you imagine if that was a black father and he was talking about his black daughter?
Mm.
Could you imagine the uproar, the fallout that would take place if y'all heard a black man talking about his daughter in that type of way? Say, for instance, she wanted to be, I don't know, a talk show host or whatever. She thinks she's going to be the next Oprah Winfrey or whatever. That's what she want to do. You know, the best of the best. She wants to be something extraordinary. And he's saying, she ain't got it. You going to do that to a little girl? Can you imagine how bad of a villain it would be? I mean, it's just something to think about.
Yeah.
It ain't right.
Yeah. At all.
Yeah.
And when we talk about, I mean, you brought up another interesting point, is like the mother-son relationship, the daughter-father relationship. You know, it's different when it's coming from, like, for example, if she was talking about her daughter, right? Obviously, it's not the right, you know, right either or. But when you have somebody model for you, you know, what it looks like to be supported by the, you know, the opposite sex or the opposite gender, then that's how you're going to interpret things moving forward. Or you can't, there's a strong possibility you can interpret that moving forward. Like, do I trust women anymore? You know, do I trust black women anymore? You know, there's a lot of folks, particularly, I know it's going to probably bring up a little bit of controversy, but some folks I talk to that are in interracial relationships, you know, particularly black men, is like, okay, what really, you know, when they talk about what really led them outside the race, they're like, well, my mom wasn't, you know, wasn't too much of a proud person to be. Now, obviously, that's a whole another thing. Maybe a single mother had to do where you have to play both roles. You know, all that stuff, most definitely understood. But when we talk about what is modeled for a black boy to have a relationship with a black woman, is typically the mother. You know, that's the front line.
It's the mother. And just to piggyback on that, y'all be very clear. Then there are some black men out there that have very good relationships with their mom, but they just like what they like. And guess what? They're allowed to like what they like.
That's a fact.
That's what it is. I don't understand why people, you know, we ain't finna get into that because people, you know,
that's why I gave the disclaimer.
Yeah.
It's gonna cause some controversy,
but
but
like what they like, man.
I just wanted to throw that out there just because
right.
Sometimes that's what it is, and sometimes it may not, you know, some folks just might like the, you know,
but it's
like
that
outside the race.
That dynamic. And again, I know I said we use the example, if that was a black man and his daughter speaking about, like, if she wanted to be Oprah Winfrey, or say she just wanted to make the cheer team. She ain't got it, y'all. I ain't gonna even lie. She can't do it. She only even on there because her mom was the cheer manager. Society go crazy.
Yeah.
Gonna go crazy about how we just, you know what I'm saying? But I ain't gonna press it too hard. It's just a real thing, though, that it kind of shows you how there's sometimes favoritism when it comes to discrimination. There's levels to it.
Right. And there might have been a more of an uproar, but what is it said to be, especially with young Black boys, there's not really this space for, to talk about certain things like that. That's why we were kind of bringing it up now is, what does it look like for a young Black boy to have experienced that from his mother, versus like a young Black woman. You know what I mean? Obviously, we're not saying one's worse than the other, but the empathy is a lot different.
For sure.
The empathy is a lot different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like for, it's kind of like, okay, well, suck it up. For a young boy, it's like, oh, suck it up. Don't, tough it out, thug it out, man up.
Yeah.
With the woman, it's going to be a little bit more, a little bit more girl power, and it's going to be a little bit more, compassion, and we even see that in I don't mean to go on a tangent, but we even see that just in the mental health field. One of the biggest platforms of Black service therapy is therapy for Black girls. That's one of the ones a lot of people may say, and like shout out to them for doing what they do.
I mean, they doing great work.
Awesome, amazing job.
They didn't build that up, man.
We got to have the creator on here one time.
Yeah.
So if you're listening, or you know her, or you know of them, tell them to holler at managemental@gmail.com so we can have her on the show.
Yeah,
that'd be
sure.
dope.
Yeah, she.
But there's that lack of space for young Black men. There's not always that space for us. Shout out to certain platforms like Black Men Heal, Express Yourself, Black Man. There's a couple out there. I know Taraji P. Henson's doing some work. Charlamagne's been doing some work as far as men's mental health, but just that one big thing is it's not really prevalent for us. I only know those things. You may have known those things just because we are clinicians and we follow these people on Instagram, but not the general public may not know what those other resources for Black men may look like.
Yeah, we definitely want to, as time goes on, we want to continue to shed light on those outlets that are for Black men of color in general, so that they can be able to have access to their mental health, to different types of services. But we also do have to keep in mind the other side of it. For a lot of Black men, we are not, or just men of color, we're not necessarily comfortable being vulnerable. That's still something that we have to unlearn, because it goes against the very thing that we've been taught since day one from a kid. Toughen up, tighten up, don't cry, don't do this, shut up, stop whining, be a man. You know what I'm saying? You're talking about, if a woman maybe a single mother of 3, and her oldest happens to be a boy that's 9. At 9 years old, he the man of the house. He the man of the house. You gotta, you know what I'm saying? Like, so, if I'm all this and you telling me I'm this, why I need to talk to somebody else? What I need to talk to somebody for? To make me feel soft or to make me feel vulnerable? I'm cool. Yeah. So it goes against, the very thing that is unfortunately been instilled in a lot of us.
Big facts. Big facts. The part of that, and I know this is kind of segued into another topic, which we most definitely want to touch on too, is, what does it look like for us to unlearn those things? You know what I mean? Sometimes it does come in the form of like understanding where it came from. My mom told me I wasn't anything, so that's what I believe. And my mom told me I needed to be the man of my house, the man of the house, because my pops wasn't there. I had to grow up fast. A lot of men, Black men, we have to grow up fast, quick, and in a hurry.
Yeah.
Without question, we have to. Those are the things we sometimes have to do. We have to put ourselves in a position of not, missing a whole childhood and, having to take on some adult responsibilities, some adult emotions as well too, and not allow ourselves to really process things as a kid.
Yeah, telling a human being to man up before they've even hit puberty is wild. Wow. It's wild. Telling a human being to man up before they even hit puberty is wild.
Yeah.
Those are things we really got to unlearn.
Big facts. Big facts.
Got to unlearn it. Being able to unlearn that will help a lot of people regulate emotions as they get older, so they can deal with adversity in a better way. Because a lot of times when we look at the penal system and stuff like that, of course, you have a lot of guys out there that may have got, caught up, moving birds or something, saying something crazy, that type of thing. But then you got a lot of people that are in there for violent crimes, and it's really just because they could not regulate their emotion.
Yeah.
But because they never learned it at an early age.
That's the part.
Being able to express yourself was frowned upon. And now you hold him accountable for not being able to have that ability.
Yeah.
And now he has to sit in some cell because he was told he shouldn't do it at a young age. And now you're blaming him for not doing it at an older age. Yeah. It's crazy.
It's wild. It's where we got to break the cycle. Most definitely got to speak out about it, speak out on those things, because you sometimes sitting down and we wonder why, when there are telltale signs all along.
Yeah.
There's telltale signs all along.
Definitely.
Yeah, man. But as we wrap up, any closing thoughts or any closing remarks or any thoughts?
Oh man, just continue to regulate your, continue to check in with yourself, regulate your mood as we are now into the holiday season. Don't overextend yourself. Don't do it. It ain't worth it. Not over no food. Not over no gifts. Don't do it. To the parents out there, don't go broke over no clothes that they ain't gonna be able to fit in 6 months. Don't go broke over no bike that they ain't gonna want to ride a year from. Don't do Don't do it. Don't do it. It's not worth it. Understand your boundaries, and it's okay. If you can provide love, that's the number one thing. If that's what you have to provide, that's enough. That's enough. Rest assured that. Make sure your kids know that they love you, and you don't ever want to put them in a position where they think love is through things. You don't want them to think that, because not only is that going to be problematic for you, but as they get older, that's going to end up becoming somebody else's problem as well.
You preaching now, dog.
Don't threaten me with a good time. You know that, see, I can get to it. But no, so we want to just make sure that you guys are doing that. Continue to, follow us, keep up, as we're releasing more and more episodes. Inbox us, email us, whatever the case is. If you guys got some clips that you want us to break down, you want a cool clinical perspective on things, tap in with the guys. We're gonna do that for you. We appreciate y'all.
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate y'all. Again, Managemental Podcast, IG, like he said, like, share, subscribe. Managemental@gmail.com. Website will be coming up soon, like we're talking about managemental.com. So y'all be on the lookout for that. Yeah.
And for you guys looking on YouTube, our information will be in on the YouTube video, on the post. Follow, get all the information from there.
That it will be.
Share it with a friend.
Yep. Help a friend. There it is. Yeah. All right. Well, we appreciate y'all tapping in. Y'all take care. Peace.